thing set up. How is that looking? How's the lighting? We've got some people here. It's been a while since I've gone live, and I'm not in my usual spot. I've been on my usual walk, but I'm gonna have to have my, this is my beverage of today. This is cold cafetiere filtered coffee, and to this I'm going to add, and I didn't bring a spoon. Oh no, I should have brought the spoon. There we go. I need the spoon, but I'm not going to do that. That's my cold iced coffee for today. Hello everybody, it's Brian of London. I normally do these talks from my walk in the park. I've been on my walk in the park for the first time in months, actually, straight through the middle of Park Hayakon. Homage to Scott Adams and the simultaneous sip. I've been through the park, but of course the coffee place in it is still shut, unfortunately, so I couldn't record my video there, so I've come home. And who's there? Let's see. Well, I don't want to bore everybody. I want to try and tell a story quickly, and I don't really want this to be a crypto story. Yes, does it ever rain? We have had a huge amount of rain here this year. Weirdly huge amount of rain. But we've just also had a 5-day mega heat wave, and it's windy. A 5-day mega heat wave where today was the first morning that I woke up and opened the door to the balcony here, and it was not above 30 degrees already. It's been 35 up to 40 degrees centigrade. So it's still warm right now. What's it telling me? I'm not sure. Yeah, 26 or so. No, 31. Okay, so what's this story I want to try and tell without boring everybody? The story is a bank robbery. A bank robbery that I watched last week, all to do with this crypto thing that I use. It was called Steem, then we all moved to Hive, but Steem remained. But that's the bit that's... I don't want to get lost. I don't want to lose the actual narrative story in the detail, which is that it involves computers and crypto. What really happened was that this network that I've been involved with for over 2 years, it was a place that I went when Facebook deleted my account. I moved on to a social network that was built on something called Steem, and it was uncensorable, so I thought. And it was not controlled by a central authority, so I thought. And that actually, for the bulk of the time that I was there, that was the case. But then earlier this year, someone came along, a very wealthy guy called Justin Sun, allegedly wealthy, who's made millions in crypto, and he's a kid, and a loudmouth, and a big Twitter following. And he bought a company that was very important to this system that I was using called Steem. And he bought the company. And along with the company, he actually bought a large share of the whole project. And that was a problem. He used various bits of subterfuge to take control of the entire network. And at the point that it was obvious that he was controlling it. And so what had been an uncontrollable system where everybody could just say what they wanted and do to a certain extent what they wanted. From that situation, we now had a central control by a guy formerly from the Republic of China, the communists, the CCP. And the people who had been using Steem up to then, the developers, a lot of technical people, a lot of very, very knowledgeable technology people, they left. They left the system. They decided, no, we don't actually have to be here. We'll create a brand new system of our own. We'll take the code, because the code was open. It had been developed by a lot of these people already. And we'll make a copy. We'll make a copy of the entire system. We'll recreate it over here, and we'll call it Hive. And we'll carry on Hive. And that's what happened. But, so, to try and put it into an analogy, imagine there's this bank. And we have our governments that are sort of doing this kind of thing. Imagine this bank, but you don't like the way the bank's being run. You don't like the way they're using their software to run the bank. But what you can do is you can build another bank next door. You can, if the information is all public, which it is on a blockchain, you copy all the information onto your computer systems and you carry on running from there. The value of this system derived from the people who were using it. So when the people moved to Hive, a lot of the value moved to Hive. And that made Justin Sun very, very jealous, because when the people created Hive, they gave everybody a share of this new system, but they didn't give Justin Sun. And they didn't give the people who had helped Justin Sun take over the old system. And that made him very, very jealous and very, very angry. So what happened on Tuesday night, they published that they were going to do they were going to change the software, the code of this old system called Steem. Now, a lot of us who had been using Steem, we still had value in Steem. We owned assets, and our Steem, that was payment. In my instance, that was payment that I had received for videos. When people liked my videos on Steem, they hit the like button and I got a certain amount of money, and every week I would collect money from those videos. That value was still locked up in Steem. I was slowly drawing it out, but there was a 13-week period before I could draw it all out. So they announced they were going to change the code. And amongst that code change was just the most astonishing thing. They announced that there was going to be 66 accounts that, instead of just being the same before the code change and after, which is what's normal, you don't touch the balances of your customers' accounts in a bank if you're upgrading your software. You don't write an upgrade that just changes people's balances. No, what this software change was going to do, for 66 accounts, it was going to take their value, all of their assets, and give it to one new account called Community 321. Just whoosh, magic, assets worth over $5 million. I mean, I know personally some of the people involved here, some had as much as $600,000 worth. $600,000 worth at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. Just a transaction scrolls by that says, all of your money now goes to this account, which you don't control. And that was unthinkable in the old Steem system, when it was controlled and run by nobody, when it was a group of hundreds, but actually about a top 20 of powerful witnesses who were voted for by the community. That was replaced when Justin Sun took it over by Justin Sun's friends and computers that he controls directly. And so they just wiped out these 66 balances. They put it into this account called Community 321. And the amazing part of this being online and blockchain is it happened in public. Dozens, hundreds, I don't know, thousands of us were watching the blocks as they go by. You can see them there. There's a nice little interface. And so we saw all these blocks go by saying, your money goes to this, your money goes to this, your money goes to this. And it scrolls down, and everybody's balances of these 66 accounts that we knew in advance have been zeroed and transferred to someone else. And then a minute or so later, this account called Community 321, suddenly sends 26 million Steem, which is $5 or $6 million, sends it to a bank, to a site called Bittrex, which is one of the big cryptocurrency exchanges. For the purposes of this, you can consider them to be a public bank. And the message that was put on that transfer was, all of this money has been stolen from its rightful owners. Please take steps to hand it back to the rightful owners from Steem of this money. And panic, chaos. This is insane. This is Ocean's 11, but they've done the huge heist and they've put all the money in the van, but then the van driver drives back around to the front of the casino and gives it to the back. It was the most startling thing. I was sitting here and, my wife was next to me. She couldn't understand why I was jumping up and down at what I'd just seen, because it's a movie. It's an absolute damn movie that just happened. But it's too geeky. It's way too geeky. So essentially, all of this now real money is sitting on the ledger, on the account of an exchange, a very well-known, very well-respected, honourable and good exchange called Bittrex. And they don't know what to do. Now, my friend Andrew has written some legal advice, because what he and I, in our capacity of building a funding company for funding a lawsuit in the crypto industry, Andrew wrote the night before this happened, because this was like an announced theft. We see this as a theft. There's just no two ways about it. The other side, Justin Sun, will claim that this isn't theft, which is that the people on Steem who didn't get Hive should have been given Hive, and that not being given Hive was a theft of Hive from them. Well, no, it wasn't. They never had Hive. What essentially, the best way I'd put it is that Justin Sun's angry that somebody didn't give him a birthday present, and that gives him, he thinks, therefore, the right to steal $5 or $6 million because we didn't give him a birthday present. No, that's just not the case. Steem was an existing asset. It has a multi-year history of existing. People bought it. Some of them bought it with real cash. Some of them were actual investors who had turned cash money into Steem. And some of them had earned it. And all of their cash was just stolen at a predetermined time with whoever you want watching, and with an absolute immutable record now that we can prove, we can say this is what happened at this time. And then somebody else came along, and then what we noticed, of course, going back 10 minutes before the actual transfer of the first funds, the keys to this account, Community 321, were changed by whoever held them. Now, the best part is that this guy Justin Sun, who really we know controls Steem, we know he controls all of the computers that are most significant to the network. He can't say that he did this, and he can't say that he was supposed to be receiving the funds into Community 321, because he put out a statement the night before saying this was nothing to do with him. This was the Steem community that decided all of this. So he's stuck with this. The meme I put out is the guy sweating with the two buttons to push. Did Justin Sun order this hard fork to take away funds from people he didn't like? Or was he robbed when Community 321 suddenly sent all of the money that had been stolen to Bittrex? He can't claim that he didn't. It doesn't work. So there is a bit of a legal limbo. My friend Andrew's working actually on proper legal advice, somebody to write, but it's really, that'll get into the nitty-gritty, but it's really simple. Theft, it's one of the 10 commandments. It's not like it's a difficult to understand bit of jurisdiction or complicated law concept in law. Forget the blockchain stuff. These were assets, they were stolen. Now, what stops assets being stolen in the wider blockchain community is that you have to have multiple people running this blockchain. You have to have many people. In the case of Bitcoin, it's widely spread. It's computer power all over the world. If anybody ever gets to 51% control, then blockchains have a problem, and that's what happened to Steem. It was what's called a 51% attack. Justin Sun took over the voting rights of more than 51%. He hides it. He's deceptive, but that's essentially what has gone on. And so Steem is no longer a blockchain. It's just a database. It's just like Facebook. You can have your account deleted. You can have your money taken away. But this is real money. And in most jurisdictions, nobody recognizes your Facebook page as an asset. It's really hard to go to court and say that if Facebook deletes your page, they've taken away an asset. I think they have. I think you should be monetarily rewarded for building a big Facebook page, but you aren't, and when you sign the terms and conditions on Facebook, you agree to that. However, on Steem itself, the currency, is an asset. It can be traded on exchanges. You can sell it for actual dollars. You can spend dollars to buy it. So it's an asset. Every court, every reasonable jurisdiction is going to recognize that Steem is an asset. And so at that moment, when the code was changed, whoever is responsible for that code change committed an act of theft. That's it. And we'll write a proper legal opinion. What we have to do, I think, now going forward to get the money back to the people who it came from is to convince Bittrex that they would be acting lawfully if they return the funds to who they came from, which is not one account on Steam, but the underlying accounts which fed into that in the moments before this hard fork, or at this hard fork. And that we have to give Bittrex the cover to do the right thing and to return the funds to their rightful owners. And it's an unenviable position that Bittrex have been put in as a well-respected company. But I'm hopeful that they'll do the right thing. But just to caution my friends in the blockchain world, just because there is an easy technical solution, or there are technical ways to prove whoever owned these monies, doesn't mean that the technical solution is all that's going to take here. It is going to take proper legal argument, and it's going to take Bittrex being assured that they're acting legally, because at the moment they are in receipt of stolen property. That's for sure. I mean, the case hasn't been brought. I mean, one of the things that we advised the night before was, and then immediately afterwards, was go to, if you're one of those accounts that had funds taken, you need to go to the police in your local jurisdiction and record a crime. This was a crime. Your money was stolen in an act of larceny, theft, whatever the correct legal term in your jurisdiction is. And you should record that as a crime. At some point, maybe in some jurisdiction, we will have to mount an actual civil claim against Justin Sun and Steemit to get a court ruling. Not necessarily to get the money back, because that's sitting in Bittrex, but to get a court ruling somewhere that a court in the real world recognizes that this was an act of theft outside the computer, because we're going to need it, actually, because this damages the entire cryptocurrency world. It is another lawless act, and cryptocurrency is just the medium. Cash is used for a multitude of nefarious purposes. Doesn't mean we have to ban cash, even though people are going to try. Crypto, to a certain extent, it has some issues, but also in this case, with the fact that a white knight is controlling this community 321 account, who then, basically put the funds, hopefully somewhat out of reach of Justin Sun, and at least into a position where it's possible to see them being returned to the rightful owners. Crypto is both the problem and the solution. So that was kind of the best telling of this story I can muster. I haven't managed to retain a large audience here on Periscope. I didn't expect to. I know that I've been tweeting too much about this, and my Twitter audience is not directly all crypto, so thank you for bearing with me. I'll get back to talking about Israel stuff at some point, and Tommy Robinson's case. Perhaps I'll do a separate one. Hi there, Tell Memo. I'm amazed you're watching me all the way through this. I'd love any feedback. Anybody wants to? Was that explicable? Anybody got any questions? Does that make any sense? It's such a. It should be so easy, and this thing should be a movie. I mean, this should be the decentralized social network 2. That would be a hell of a story. And yeah, I'm going to try and get back into my regular routine, going for my walk in the park. Hopefully the coffee place will open up soon. Hopefully Israel will open up soon. We've hopefully we're coming out of this COVID thing. Kids are back at school. Not too nervous to go to see my parents tonight. All of that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to finish my iced coffee. Thank you very much for watching. This will go up on 3Speak, which is powered by Hive, which is my favorite video platform of record. Periscope, I do the live things because I like the feedback. And until the next time, this is Brian of London in Tel Aviv in the sun. Thank you, and see you all soon.